Hello my friends on YouTube. Today is the 4th of June 2023. Today's video is I came to slaughter. And I don't mean to slaughter a chicken to have for dinner. No, slaughter human being. Okay, there's hadith that it says, I'm going to put it in the description box. It's really not, I tried to look for it in the hadith books, but it doesn't exist, and I feel this because of shame. However, they cannot hide it. So I found where it's written, where people are asking, because really they feel this is a shameful hadith. And many Muslim clerks are trying to smooth it up, but reality is you cannot really smooth it up. The founder of Islam, when he was in Arabia, many people actually in the beginning, they felt he's insignificant guy, he doesn't know much, and he was trying to gain a momentum. So they didn't pay attention to him, and they used to make fun of him. And he felt hurt, and he told them, I came to you with a slaughter. I will slaughter you soon, once I have the authority and the power, which he did later on. I spoke maybe about 4 or 5 years ago about the assassination of a person. His name was Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. And reality is, the founder of Islam, really, he has a list of 44 people whom I know he killed one with his own hand. I know of one, but the rest he didn't have to kill, do the dirty work. He ordered people to go and assassinate these people because they were too dangerous to stay alive. And one of them was Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf was one of the very wealthy Arabian living in Arabia. He was a Jewish man. He was a young man, and it says that he was a very good looking, and he was married to the finest women in Arabia, and he lived in a castle. So that, I mean, I don't live in a castle, and I don't know how many of the people who are listening to this video live in a castle. That means he is a very wealthy man. Reality is, most of the people that the founder of Islam gave direction to slaughter were primarily Jews. And this not because he hated the Jews, really, no. It's not because of the hate of the Jews, but it was because the Jews were mainly merchant, and they were extremely wealthy. What happened when you are a wealthy man and you have a son? You send him to the finest schools to learn. So Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, he was a Jewish man, a son of a merchant. He himself was a merchant, but he was the son of a merchant. So I would imagine, because he was a very famous poet. So if you are a good poet, it means you took time to learn. So I would imagine that his father sent him probably to Egypt or to Iraq or Greece, one of the finest schools to study. So he was a very well-learned man, and he was a very good poet. So he used to take Muhammad's words and check them out and find that it's nonsense, and he used to answer him with his poetry. And poet to the Arabians at this time, it was a very easy way to convey a message to the average person in a very smooth way. Arabs loved poets, and the good poet, they had a lot of influence over the people. So imagine a person like Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, a Jewish poet who has a lot of followers. Let's say if TikTok or all this social media today existed then, he will have like 50 million followers. And when he criticized somebody like this guy, who back then didn't mean much, he practically put his end. So the founder of Islam couldn't take that. He will put my end. These poets will put my end. Abu Afak, also, he was an old man, but he was a Jewish man, and he was well learned, and he was a very good poet. He had to be killed. Asma bint Marwan is a woman who was, she were asleep, nursing her baby, giving her breast to her baby. He sent people to murder her as she was nursing her baby. Even the mafia don't do that. Mafia, actually, they kind of like have some decency. When they see something like that, they say, no, this is a woman with a baby, I can't do that. So if you want me to go into each and every one of these people whom he had murdered, or, well, I mean, Hitler practically did not kill anybody with his own hand. Yet, he is the one who is responsible for the death of millions of people. So it's not because he himself did not murder them that he's not a murderer. Okay? By the same token, it's not because the founder of Islam did not go and slaughter these people himself that he is free of their blood. No, their blood is on his hand. He, with Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, because he was criticizing him and he couldn't answer, he couldn't use logic to explain to him the value of his message. So he had to be killed to stop him from saying anything else. What he did in the mosque, he said, that was a common phrase back then to say, who is this, who is for this man? That means, who is going to kill this man? So he stood and he said, who is for Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf? And his half-brother joined the founder of Islam, volunteered to kill his half-brother. Imagine if your half-brother volunteered to kill you. So anyway, they got rid of Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. Later on, I remember, many people probably remember, in 2015, 21 Egyptian Christian, Coptic Christian, were working in Libya when it was in its turmoil after the death of Gaddafi, were captured as if they were criminals. They were just civilians working in Libya to provide for their families in Egypt. They were captured as criminals, taken to the shoreside, and they were slaughtered like chicken. And their guilt, they don't believe in Allah and His Messenger. They are Christian. That was their crime. Their crime is they don't follow the founder of Islam. That's a crime. Why is that a crime? Because even though they didn't say anything positive or negative about Islam, but the fact remains that they are Christian. You didn't leave your Christianity or your Coptic faith and join Islam. And by doing just the mere fact that you didn't leave your faith, you indirectly saying Islam is nonsense. Islam is wrong. I don't believe in Islam, and therefore I'm continuing to be what I am: Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic, whatever it may be. The fact that you remain on what you are sending a message that you do not believe in the founder of Islam, that he's a prophet. You don't believe that he has a good message. Hence, you ought to be slaughtered. The founder of Islam came with a slaughter to whoever does not follow him. They are ashamed of this hadith. They are ashamed, and they ought to be. This is actually a good sign in many ways. They ought to be ashamed of such behavior. They are in a way ashamed of what the founder said and did. That's good. Soon they will wake up. Okay. So, the 21 people from Egypt were murdered. Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf was murdered on the command of the founder of Islam. Abu Afak, an old man, was murdered on the request of the founder of Islam. Asma bint Marwan, a woman nursing a baby, she was murdered. And now the list continues until today. Those who are following in the footsteps of this religion or faith or whatever you want to call it, or terrorism, whatever you want to call it, they are imitating and emulating what the founder have done. So when we see that group who slaughtered 21 innocent people, cut their throat, and they had it on film. They had people filming them as they are slaughtering them, as if they are sheep or goats or chicken. Qurfa is an old Jewish woman who had a very respected position in society, in Arabian society, whether Christian, not just the Jews respected her, Christian respected her. She was a very well respected woman. The Prophet of Allah tied her legs, each leg in one horse, and they pushed the horses to run in opposite direction, and he split her in halves. This is even is beyond imagination. This behavior is worse than the mafia. Don't do that. When they have a person who is against them, yes, they put him down, but a bullet to the head and the situation is done. But this is like, this man, honestly, I'm really, as a person, he was sick in his head. So I'm speaking about that because once again I'll keep talking about this. Where is Said al-Idrisi, the Egyptian man who was working in Yemen, but he doesn't believe in Muhammad? Did you slaughter him as you did to the 21 Egyptian working in Libya? Did you do to him as the founder did to the people of his time, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, Abu Afak, Asma bint Marwan, Qawfa? Have you done that? We have to hear. We have to know. And the Egyptian authority is responsible. We will keep talking. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you.